If you have scored a band 7 in IELTS listening, speaking, even reading, but you haven't been able to score a 6.5 or 7 in writing, then this is the video for you. Now, how come you have managed 7 band in other 3 competencies, but you are not being able to secure the 7 band in writing? There might be some lacunae in your attempt, in your approach. So today I'll talk about an approach which will give you band 7 in IELTS writing. Now, most of the tutors talk about fancy words, sophisticated words. Actually, we are not supposed to use fancy, sophisticated words. We are supposed to use academic words, academic vocabulary. Since academic writing must be clear and concise, there is no room for using fancy, less common words which nobody understands. So make sure you use academic words. Next one is using complex structures. Now, when we hear the word complex, we tend to think that we should use long sentences which are difficult to grasp. That's not the point. Complex sentences or complex structures are those sentences which have a dependent and an independent clause. Obviously, there can be more than one dependent clauses, but that would make the sentence again difficult to grasp. So it's better just to use one dependent clause and one independent clause. Now, I'll talk about this dependent clause and independent clause in some other video, but once you have a dependent clause and an independent clause, you have a complex structure. For example, I'm not going to buy this gadget as I don't have enough money. Now look at this. I don't have enough money. There is as the conjunction, that is called subordinating conjunction. Now, as I don't have enough money, this part is the dependent clause. If you just keep this part, this doesn't make any sense unless an independent clause is attached to it. So, I'm not going to buy this gadget as I don't have enough money. Or the structure can be reversed. As I don't have enough money, I'm not going to buy this gadget. Either way, you'll have a complex structure. Now, while writing, you have to punctuate correctly. So I have some shorts and other videos on punctuation as well. You can watch them. But here, while punctuating complex structures, complex sentences, it depends how you frame them. I already gave you 2 examples where the framing of sentences, the structure was different. In one structure, what you can do is you can keep the subordinating conjunction in the beginning. That means you are using the dependent clause in the beginning of the sentence. For example, as everybody was wearing a red dress, I did the same. Now you see the first clause, dependent clause, as everyone was wearing a red dress. If you are using the dependent clause in the beginning, please use a comma to separate it from the independent clause. So, as everyone was wearing a red dress, comma, I wore a red dress as well. But if you are using the independent clause in the beginning, I wore a red dress as everyone was wearing one. In this case, you don't need a comma because the conjunction as itself works as a comma. So, while punctuating complex structures, if the dependent clause is in the beginning, separate the clauses with a comma. If not, do not put a comma anywhere. This is another thing, complex structure. And one more thing you have to do is your paragraphs must have one central idea called the topic sentence. And this sentence must come in the beginning of your paragraph. You got what I mean? If you are writing an essay, you can't fill your page with rubbish. There must be a solid idea in every body paragraph. For example, let's say we are talking about advantages and disadvantages of industrialization. Let's say one advantage is employment. People get more employment. You must write this clearly in the very first sentence of the paragraph. Industrialization creates opportunities for employment. That's it. Do not beat around the bush. Make it plain. Then you go on to provide supporting evidence to your topic sentence. You have to develop every body paragraph like this. Unless there is no point, you are going to get 7. Even if you are grammatically 100% correct, or you have used complex structures, it's still difficult to get a 7 band if your paragraphs are not well structured. Alright, thank you for watching my video. I hope in your next attempt you'll get a 7 band in writing as well. If you like my content, please do consider subscribing to my channel and show some support through your likes, comments and shares. I'll see you next time. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.